town. Today's guest, 2021 hitting grad. Got third place at state wrestling at 195 as a junior. Got second place at 220 or 215? 220. That was a close match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Went to UNI to play, walked on to UNI, ended up a team captain, and now has NFL aspirations. Derek Anderson, thanks for coming on, my man.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good to have you in the podcast studio, you know.
Appreciate you guys inviting me.
Looking mighty large. I think we'll get this out of the way so in case you break it. Everybody does a grip strength test. You just got to see where you're at.
Okay.
Believe it or not, like my little brother, he's tiny, he's a small guy. He's got a better one than like me. So.
You can go.
I haven't had my practice on these yet.
You can go right or left. So.
We both will be.
Oh my.
131.8. Not bad at all. I think probably the highest so far.
Well done.
There we go. So Derek, high school. You just wrestled and played football, right?
And ran track, too.
You did?
Did my freshman and senior year.
What'd you run?
I ran like hurdles, 200s. A little bit of throwing.
You ran the 400 hurdles, didn't you?
Yeah.
And Bodie was a freshman.
Yep.
And you were a senior.
Who's the fastest, Anderson?
Gabe. By far.
Gabe is.
Yeah, Gabe's pretty fast.
Was he?
He had a little more of the speed genes.
Gabe just graduated last year, right? He was the quarterback in the Dome 2 years ago. Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's got a few like track medals still and stuff. He ran state.
I think he ran low 50s.
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
Damn.
Yeah. But I think you got outsized.
Yeah. He's getting pretty big
You
now,
got
too.
3 brothers and a sister?
Yes. Yeah.
Your sister's the youngest?
Yeah, sister's the youngest, so.
Yeah, and the older brother, I didn't really know him, but he was in the play sports.
Yeah, he did football and track. He ran track in the morning side for a couple of years there.
So at what point during your senior year, because you had a pretty rough senior year, didn't you? I mean, it was a pretty rough 2 years, and even the year after you left, I mean, actually it was even worse probably. But I think we had some good moments that year. I think we won up at Sioux Central. We had that big second half, and we played about 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was the first game of that stuff. We played that in.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. Good one.
At what point during your senior year did you always know you were going to go play football somewhere, or how did it come that you went to UNI?
Yeah, I kind of always knew I wanted to go play football. I was just waiting to see, like, I was willing to play whatever level.
Yeah.
I got offers from and things, so it was spring of my junior year. I got a couple of Division II offers. That was in the middle of COVID and stuff, so it was weird. I couldn't go visit anywhere. Wasn't any, like, meeting coaches. It was all stuff over the phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of weird, but then going into my senior year, like, even season started, I only had 2 Division II offers, one to Sioux Falls and one to Wayne State. So I was committed to Sioux Falls. They still let me listen to like D1 offers and things, but I just didn't have much. It was probably halfway through the year, you and I called me.
What were they recruiting you out of?
So it's kind of funny.
You were skinny then.
Yeah. They were at first recruiting me as quarterback, so they, through the summer, like,
Wow.
just couldn't do camps and stuff. The quarterback's coach would send me, like, hey, I want you to make a video for me of you throwing these 10 passes, and I'd go up to Sergeant Bluff and make my younger brother catch for me and throw whatever he's had and send it off to them. And I think by the end of the summer they decided maybe not quarterback, but then they were talking about defensive end or tight end, not sure which.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't until right towards the end where they kind of left it up to me. Where I was like, where do you guys really want to see me?
Right.
But, the end probably more.
Yeah.
So that's where I left.
What'd you weigh after you graduated high school? Coming out.
When I got to UNI, I stepped on the scale. I chugged a bunch of water this morning up.
Oh my.
I stepped on the scale at 210. I was probably walking around at 205.
Yeah.
You never got even close to 220.
No.
And you were like 6'4". I mean,
Yeah. I was skinny. I was not a big guy.
So how did you and I come into the picture?
Well, they've kind of been talking to me the longest, and then in D1, they came and saw right before COVID, one of their coaches came through the building in the spring. And I think they were actually trying to recruit Tanner Isles at the time.
And you were a junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they were asking about guys still a year left. And this is my name came up with Carter, so they had me come down. And so they kind of talked to me through the summer and things, but I thought they were interested, but I knew they weren't pulling the trigger on offers or anything. And then, yeah, it wasn't probably till 3/4 of the way through the season that they offered me the walk-on spot. So
You'd have to be offered a walk-on. You just can't walk on, dude.
yeah.
Is
So
that right?
they'll do like they call it a preferred walk-on, where So they did a tryout. They don't have to take anybody. They actually had 2 guys from the tryouts that were on the team for a year or 2. But
They didn't make it out for you.
yeah, no, I think both of them were more from their own choice. Like they were kind of older guys. They were graduating. They're like, I don't know.
We have a theory on like how you progress in sports, and I think a lot of it is nutrition, not quitting.
Just,
I mean, the farther you get, the more years you stack on top, even in the minor leagues of baseball, whatever. People just get sick of it. I mean, they quit, and it's hard to get through those.
I could,
You do see a lot of people drop out at every stage.
Yeah, it's tough because when you're playing at a level like that, like everyone was the best player in high school.
Yeah.
Everyone played 4 years. They played as a true freshman. They're not used to sitting the bench thing, and then you get to college. And I didn't start a game on either side of the ball until my 4th season, and so there's a lot of guys that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was like when you go on the walk line, you're not exactly in the coach's room.
yeah.
Plans of who's going to be.
How'd you handle that? Think you head down and work hard, or what was your?
Yeah, I kind of knew what it was going to take. It was,
Countless hours of work put in behind the.
Yeah, exactly. Like I knew I was going to have to be in the weight room a bunch. I knew I wasn't necessarily a freak athlete or anything like that, so I was going to have to be.
Well, that's better than 30 minutes first league.
Yeah,
That's the one that jumped off the page.
yeah, that was good.
I agree.
That's big.
When's the last time you threw a basketball down?
Obviously, don't dunk, yeah.
Pretty.
Probably, but it's been a little while.
That's a pretty good.
Oh, dunk at will. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, I was like 6'1", was like a 25 inch vertical, but I could almost jump. So you could certainly.
Were you happy with the 4.9?
I wasn't stoked about it. I thought I could
You
get
just gotta
down.
break 5, don't you?
Yeah. I thought I could get down to the 4.7s and things. I didn't run my best 10 and 20 split. I didn't have a full 40 time really through training, just 10 and 20 minute splits. And what I ran on pro day wasn't my best, but.
Where was pro day at?
So that you and I.
Okay.
So they
All FCS?
both turf down.
Those
Also,
did you and I.
just some FCS will host their own. Not everyone does, but
Gotcha.
we host our own, so that helps. Like I trained with some guys that they're kind of call up different schools and try to find somebody to run that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't have their own at their own school, so it was nice to have our own because we have our own facility. We're comfortable in the place.
Yeah.
Our trainers are right there. So there's 10 of us total. There was 8 of us that just got done this last fall.
Yep.
There's one guy that came back. He transferred away to a D2 school, and then they're running one for a pro day. And then there was a guy who ran a pro day last year. He was with the Bucks. He actually did pretty well, and then he tore his hamstring.
That's with the practice team or with the actual squad?
So it was just in the summer stuff. So it was just through that training camp, but he tore his
Lineman?
DB actually.
Do they bring in special trainers to get you guys ready for the combine, or your 40s and your all that stuff,
It kind of depends. Like,
or is it just the UNI trainers?
so you can kind of do either one. You and I trainers offer one, which again is nice because not every school does that. So our coaching staff, our strength coach staff works with the guys and will offer like a free training,
That's good.
which is really nice. I got the chance to go out to my agent sent me out to Pennsylvania to a training place out near Pittsburgh. So that guy, he done draft training for like 15 years. He usually had like 20 to 30 guys that he trained. So that's where I spent my
Nice.
time.
What other I guess events did you do at your pro day? Obviously you did the high jump, broad jump, or vertical leap, broad jump, the 40. Did you do some defensive drills and things like that, or did they just?
Like the 3-cone
Oh.
drill, that kind of stuff.
Bench press, maybe.
Bench press, and then they had so I did being a tight end. They had me do some blocking stuff we had one offensive lineman doing pro day.
Gotcha.
So I did a few of those drills with them, and then ran routes.
I would imagine most people want to use some kind of blocking first, probably, maybe.
Yeah.
The bio I read online kind of touted your blocking abilities.
So I'm not going to be a guy necessarily that's going to, they're expecting to have 10 catches a game.
Those outside linebackers are fast.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like DBs.
Yeah, exactly. The athletes are just a different level, but blocking is kind of where I made my game in college, and that's what people are looking at me to do is do the dirty work, block, be on special teams, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was thinking the special teams thing could be huge for you, being a two-way guy.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people, that really helps me a lot playing with the defensive side of the ball.
Mhm.
People feel good about me playing special teams.
That's weird that you play both ways.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
that was,
At that level? That's
yeah,
kinda
that
odd.
was not a usual circumstance, but
I mean, that's crazy.
yeah,
Every snap,
yeah,
every series.
yeah.
Wow.
So
So you're blocking on offense and then you're correcting on defense.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a
It
lot
was
of time.
fun to do for half a year, but like people ask me if I want to do
It's
it.
way different than high school. Dude. That's
Yeah.
huge.
So you only did that your junior year,
Yeah, just my
both sides of the ball.
last,
You were DN the first 3 years only, and then you went to tight end as a junior.
yeah. So I did the both sides of the ball thing.
That was your 4th year, your junior year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I redshirted as a freshman. Fourth year I played both ways, and the first game I did it at was North Dakota. We went up there and played all the defensive snaps, and then played all the 12.
You played that this year with Gabe up there?
So we actually played at home versus them, but they did travel Gabe for that game.
He got hurt, right? Did he get hurt?
Yeah, he ended up he was on like the practice team the whole year, but they had to get surgery after the season.
He gave that shit.
Is he a safety?
Yeah, he's playing like a will linebacker.
Okay.
He's putting on a lot of weight.
I saw him last weekend. That's good.
He's up to like 225, 230.
I watched him in the Dome 2 years ago, and he's impressive. I mean, as an athlete, for sure. I figured, he'd make a good safety or outside.
Played baseball. You were your brothers. It's kind of weird that they're even ended up being quarterbacks because they didn't play basketball or baseball. And that's kind of where you develop those kind of skills. So
Yeah.
You're both very athletic, but just
Yeah, it's an unusual path.
you don't see wrestlers playing quarterback very often.
No, not very often.
Who's you and I's biggest arch rival?
Probably North Dakota State.
Is it?
Is that a good one or the second?
Yeah.
North Dakota State's a good one.
They just moved up to the Mountain West Conference.
What is the Fargo Dome?
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's North Dakota.
No, it's North Dakota State.
Yeah.
The Thunder and the Bison.
Yeah. So they have a long rivalry, especially with our head coach there previously, Farley.
Yeah.
Because him and their old head coaches, you and I was always top 5 team. They were always top
Yeah.
5. So there's some great battles, and even through my
Yeah.
How did you guys do your 5 years there? What was the squad like? When you guys made it?
Derek, hold your mic a little closer.
Yeah, so, we didn't have the greatest years. We kind of stay 500 every year. We're competitive. We just never quite put the pieces together. We go and beat teams that are ranked top 5, and then we have a tough week with teams should handle. And so we kind of always strived at 6-5, 6-6.
Should Farley retire?
He retired after my junior season.
I thought you and I made a run to like the Final Four. Was it 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, it was right before COVID, right before I
Okay. Yeah.
we played in the semifinals.
Gotcha.
that year. And then before COVID hit, they came up the year ranked like 3rd in the country, and they had a lot of stars, and then COVID hit, and a bunch of them decided to hit the draft, like Spencer Brown was one of them. He had drafted Emerson Smith, some of those guys. So,
North Dakota sends people to pros every year, pretty much.
Yeah. SDSU.
yeah, the Missouri Valley definitely.
It's the best FCS conference, I'd say. It's the unquestionable.
For sure, linemen.
Yeah, 100%. And you play, that's the fun thing about FCS football, but every year, every week, you're playing guys that are playing in the NFL.
Yeah.
That you just level down, especially in the trenches on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they beat someone beats a team that shouldn't every year. Like
Yeah. They go and compete with the Iowas, and they're.
Did you get any NIL money? Did you do anything?
No.
How's that work at your level?
So some FCS schools have a lot, and some just don't. You and I is building it, but while I was there, we didn't have anything for NIL. They did some things my last year with like supplying different like meals and stuff, like kind of like a team-wide NIL. It wasn't individual, but it's kind of a crazy landscape because there are people that hit you up in off season and they tamper and offer you all kinds of.
I was gonna say, did you get those calls or texts or whatever from bigger schools saying, "Hey, we'd like you to think about coming here"?
Yeah,
That happened.
yeah, definitely had, especially in the spring, people hit you up and said they offer numbers that you're like, how can schools afford to pay guys this kind
You
of
turned them down.
I probably a loyalist to a fault, but I was like, I walked out.
You were literally offered money from those bigger schools to go there, and
Yeah, and there's a lot more tampering than you expect. There's
I think
Oh, I'm sure.
people just it's always it's not the coach directly, but it's
Right.
the agents and boosters and things.
Yeah.
Is it legal now to have an agent before you leave school? Like you said, you had an agent. When did you hire him?
So
how does that work?
he's different because I hired him as an NFL agent, so I couldn't hire him until the season was done. They kind of do like talks and whatever, and they give you the whole spiel and what they're going to offer for financial packages and what their compensation looks like. But yeah, you can't technically hire an NFL agent until after the season, but what guys do a lot now is they hire an NIL agent. So they'll hire a guy that helps them get NIL deals, and then when they go transfer, he does a lot of negotiating with NIL money and all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, it is. It's a crazy world.
All
All
these
have
big-
agents that'll hit you up, and they're not even tied to a school, but they'll just be like, "Hey, I saw your
It's like a
I was trying to
10% of
get
it.
you 400,000 in NIL. If we get you this much in NIL, I'll get you that much. And
Did a lot of your teammates leave?
we did have some. We had a couple guys that left, and
What are some schools? Is it mid majors? Is it
yeah, there's some Big Tens stuff like that. Some Big Ten teams reach out and do that kind of stuff.
Well, it'd be tough to turn around.
It's tough to turn down, and
Can you disclose what the most amount you were offered?
I never got all the way to like money amount offers. I had teammates that left that were trying to bring me with them, and they were in the $200,000-300,000.
Oh,
It's just crazy the kind of money they're taking off.
Well,
But
all these big name transfers that happen every year now, some guys play for four schools in 4 years. They're getting
millions.
exactly, and that's the part that probably shocked me the most. Is those teams aren't calling me to bring me in to be like, hey, we can give me a first round draft.
Yeah.
They're saying same thing NFL teams talking about. Come in and be a blocking tight end for us, play special teams.
But they value that at about at least $100,000.
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
So it's crazy. I don't think until you're in it, you realize just the amount of money that's passed around.
Damn.
Teams and players and all that. But,
Were you sitting by the phone last night just in case?
yeah, I get my phone close. I get some jokes from friends like, hey, you got your draft party today tonight? Like, no.
How do you see it shaking out?
Yeah. What's
I think probably, so I'm ranked as kind of like a priority undrafted free agent to potentially sliding into the end of the draft. I think I should have several offers from teams as I go undrafted and stuff that I'll get to choose and whatever, and I'll have more guarantees than just a tryout basis and stuff.
so? At that point, you'd then go work out and try out. How's it work?
So if I would be an undrafted free agent, I wouldn't necessarily have to try out. I'm signed to
Oh.
undrafted guy has a 4-year contract. I'm signed for 3 years.
You'll sign. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Practice squad, if nothing else.
Yeah, probably. So they kind of say, like, especially if you can make it through training camp just healthy.
Yeah.
As in the NFL, you're going to make at least the practice squad. Because that's what you're talking about, some of the attrition. Some of
Yeah.
it's just
I was going to ask you about
just
college.
about
Did you get through all 4 years pretty much without any injuries?
Yeah,
And that's unheard of.
yeah.
Mhm.
I was pretty lucky in that I had some bumps and bruises along the way,
Like
but
sprained ankle maybe, or
yeah, like that kind of stuff. It's a little minor, whatever. But I never had to have surgery.
Especially playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the things that's my biggest plus right now from NFL teams is I like seeing no
it's
injuries.
very rare to get through any level of football without any injuries. Just in the 4 years. Even lifting away from the offseason, you can get hurt. Even on that road. It's just
So what if you have 3 teams that want to sign you as a undrafted?
that's it.
Is that what you just kind of interview them, and
Yeah.
are all offers going to be the same?
They're gonna be pretty similar. Like there's an extreme limit on the signing bonus
Mhm.
for undrafted free agents, so it's like you might have a difference of $5,000
Gotcha.
signing bonus, but when you really look at more, and what my agent's done a lot is like breaking down
Their rosters where you could end up.
tight ends that have
Yeah.
who's likely to get cut.
Yep.
So,
Offense they run.
exactly. So,
Gotcha.
He's got a breakdown for me already of like, hey, these are the top 3 teams. If they offer you, those are where we want to end up because I think we'll have a chance. Maybe 53.
Right.
Having a balanced practice.
The city doesn't matter to you. You'll go anywhere in the country.
Yeah, pretty much. It'd be nice to stay close to the Midwest, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
sticking on a roster.
So if it's a better fit in Seattle than it is in Chicago, you're going to go to Seattle.
Yeah, that's kind of the thought process behind it.
Absolutely.
Wherever you can stick on a roster is where you need to be, because later down the line you can pick a location you like better.
I call it staying in the pool. That's what we were talking about, the attrition, the fall off. Tell my kid that, just stay in the pool.
Stay healthy. I mean, that's the biggest thing. I mean, if you really, it's going to be demanding. I mean, it's going to be as big, probably not as big of a jump from high school to college. This will be a smaller jump from high school to college. Don't you think?
I don't know. I've heard that it feels just as big.
That's a good question. The
speed is the thing everyone talks about. That's probably the biggest jump from high school to college is the game happens so fast. The offensive linemen are as fast as the running backs were in high school. Same way for college. The offensive linemen run 4.8s and stuff. And
Yeah.
360, man, like a 5. Like
that's the kind of freak athlete thing I think.
Did Proctor go last night?
had you.
Yeah.
Projected to be
He-
top 5.
I think Dolphins last night.
Okay.
From,
North Polk, Southeast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, based on kind of what we were just talking about, if you take the best Alabama team in the last 10 years and the worst NFL team, let's say the 0-16 Browns. Yeah, no, this is the question some people argue about, that Alabama team could beat, the worst team in the NFL. What's your take on that?
I would say no.
I think absolutely not, but
I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah,
I just
better
don't
than
think
nothing.
the speed
yeah, it would.
is so huge. Like
Right.
let alone starters. So you win it down so much to get even the worst NFL team. Those guys.
But what about Ohio State? They had like 5 of the top 10 draft picks.
Yeah, yeah,
The last 2 years, I think they have.
That's insane.
yeah, yeah. It is
They have the most
And their best players coming back to college next year. You know, the receiver. That dude's crazy good.
So, yeah, I think it would get closer today
Yeah.
because of the way teams can kind of
Because
stack
they're just pulling,
talent with
yeah.
NIL, like
Sure.
having the best FCS players, the best group of 5, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff to their teams.
Who was the best player you ever went up against, either side of the ball?
It's either side of the ball. Last year I played a little defense end against that Gray Zabel from NDSU.
Oh, no shit.
So he's up with Seattle. He's first round up there, and he was legit.
Left tackle.
I did not know
Yeah.
he was,
He played left tackle for them, and I didn't play a lot of defense in that game because our other tight end was hurt, so I'm playing most of the snaps there. I was doing a little bit of fill-in defensive end, but the few snaps I got against him, yeah, it was
you know who the best,
Next level, huh?
who the best Valley football player of all time is, right?
who would you say?
He's in the Hall of Fame. He just got inducted.
Des Moines Valley.
No, Missouri.
Oh, Missouri Valley.
Talking Kurt Warner, or
Oh, no, I'm
I'll say
talking,
he wasn't just
talking Adam Vinatieri.
oh yeah, SDSU.
Yeah.
Proud SDSU.
That's right.
I was talking to some guy, he used to live in the neighbor, and he went Cherokee with like Tim, and then they went to SDSU, and he goes, now that I'm benching like 320, so feeling pretty good about myself. I look over, there's my fucking kicker doing 360. That's fucking
Whoa.
Vinatieri.
And that's probably the biggest adjustment going to college from high school. Is like you think you're strong, and then like my lifting partner for 2 years was a kicker, and he was legit strong. He was our starting right tackle, me and our kicker, and like that's the kind of athletes those guys are. Like he was a great soccer player in high school, just decided to kick football in college.
Yeah, and especially coming from a 2A school in Northwest Iowa. I'm sure if you were at Dowling or Southeast Polk, yeah, you're going to get that trainer, that lifting program that's a little more closer to your college level, but unfortunately, just small schools don't have it, so that has to be a huge adjustment.
Yeah, like I remember my first day getting up at UNI, or his first week, or whatever, I wasn't up there very long. And Jared Brinkman, he was a 2-time defensive player of the year, D tackle for us. Now he's playing up in the CFL. I watched him bench 525.
Whew.
And I was like,
525, how many places that?
D lineman?
yeah, defensive tackle. So he's about 300 pounds, but yeah, you watch something like that, and you're like, I got a long ways to go.
6 foot, chest out to here, just
Yeah, just
Gotta be on
barrel.
serious.
I mean, he was just strong as an ox when he came into school. And, yeah.
You lost steroids at your level?
Honestly, not as many as you might think because we do get drug tested.
You do?
Yeah.
NCAA drug testing once a year. They randomly grab guys and whatever. And
Have you been drug tested by the NCAA?
yeah, so just last year I was on the drug test for the NCAA and stuff. So, and then our school does drug testing too.
Internally?
They probably 3-4 a year that they will just grab 15, 20 people off the football team. And,
yeah.
so.
Have you interviewed with any teams yet?
Yeah, so I did a lot of interviewing at, especially I did the SCS showcase beginning of January. It was a new thing this year. It was pretty sweet. They did it right with the SCS National Championship and stuff. So we had like a private workout with the teams where like I just ran routes and did some blocking and whatever. And then there was a whole night of interviewing. So I probably interviewed with probably like 12, 14 teams that night, talked to a bunch of different scouts. And
Yeah, scouts that you interview with?
yeah, all scouts and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool because some different teams, some really high level scouts too. And you get a chance to talk to those guys. So that's important.
Do they ask weird questions like you hear stories of, like if you can change one thing about yourself, what would it be? Or, is that,
Not so much that. There was some of that, and like I got sent like personality questionnaire type stuff.
Yeah.
Just to do like online or whatever for teams, and you would get the questions then like that.
gotcha.
Weird personality survey questionnaire type thing.
I was one of the first years ago that kind of talked. I read you had a 4.0 in kinesiology. Is that right? What is kinesiology? Study of the human body?
Yeah.
How it moves and stuff?
Yeah. So I got my master's in kinesiology, sports performance. So
Good for you.
So it's half like strength conditioning stuff. So I could get into the strength conditioning field either high school wise or could get into collegiate too.
You go like chiropractic. Can you go down that road or not?
You could. You'd have to get into chiropractor school.
Sure, yeah.
After that, it would look really good for that resume. But,
Yeah.
Really more that strength and conditioning, working as a strength coach, lifting that kind of stuff.
Some high schools have paid strength coaches.
Yeah. So there are, like, especially some of the bigger Des Moines schools, like they've got full-time strength coaches and
I'm sure.
So that would be one avenue. A lot of people, if they want to go not collegiate, they go like private and like start up their own gym and training that kind of stuff.
What do you want to do?
So
If it doesn't work out.
yeah, so I would like to get into that first. I think probably private, open up something, and just being able to train high school athletes, younger athletes, even college athletes, and again stuff like that. And the other half of that degree is in like sports psychology field. Like that's what my thesis was on and stuff. So I could get my doctorate in sports psych later on and work with a team or whatever. So
Nice.
colleges now and pro teams have like full-time psychologists that just work with the athletes and stuff. So
That'd be an interesting field for sure.
yeah, because it's kind
It's probably undervalued.
yeah, exactly. Like it's even things like a lot of sports psychologists just work with players that hey they've been on a tough batting spree or whatever. They just feel like they can't hit the ball right now.
Mhm.
To work through that, or quarterbacks that have a string of interceptions and stuff, and just kind of working through the mental side of the game too. And so
Yeah.
there's a lot of push for that in the NFL and in college and everything too. So
What about the time demands in college? What was the balance like versus studies and football? What football really required to do it right?
yeah, I mean football really was a full-time job, like and it's
40 hours a week?
year round. Like it's not just in season like it is in high school. Like off season, I'm spending more time.
Mm-hmm.
Mandatory time off, maybe? I think you told me before that you have to take a week or a month off.
Yeah. So they have certain blocks that they tell you to take time off or whatever, and that's required. But even during that time, like the expectation is you're still working out on your own.
Right.
They can't contact you, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the coaches can't contact you, but it's kind of like, hey, if you want to be good, you're going to be training just as hard.
Yep.
You're going to be finding people to throw you passes, you're going to find people to do whatever, and that kind of stuff. And so that was probably the toughest adjustment too, is just like understanding what it took time commitment wise.
Time management.
Yeah.
So what'd you give up? Just like social time?
Yeah. I just
No leisure time.
not a lot of leisure.
Well, being a 4.0, I mean, you studied, obviously.
A lot of work doing school stuff, and then a lot of time like film studying things. Like I wasn't, like I said, necessarily an athlete that jumped off the page, so I was big in the mental side of the game. Like I studied
Sure.
really hard, spent a lot of time doing that, meeting with coaches, and just trying to be as fast as I could mentally, so it made up for any athletic difference or anything like that. So definitely took a lot of time commitment to go through that.
Well, I mean, what about training table? If you do that, what's your favorite source of protein?
Good question.
Are you sick of eating?
I have said that before. I'm excited for when football is eventually done to just be able to eat when I want to, not when I have to.
It's just fast.
Like right now, it's especially when I was gaining weight and stuff. It's like, oh, it's been an hour and a half, time to eat again.
Ooh.
It's hard to gain weight, isn't it?
It is.
People think it's like, oh, you just gotta eat. Well, no, not good weight.
When you're full, you just got done working out, you don't want to go to the weight.
You a steak guy? Chicken?
Yeah. I'm a big chicken guy.
You're a meat eater.
Steak lately too.
That was probably your mom and dad.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's the way to do it.
Keep that fridge full.
And even like going out to eat with people and stuff, it's a nice excuse now. Like, oh, I gotta get steak because that's clean and clean eating and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you probably when you do get that invite to camp, that'll look good on your. If you don't make it, it'll look good on your resume for your full thing.
Yeah.
NFL, former NFL
Yeah,
player.
exactly. Even like the training I did in Pennsylvania with that trainer, I was like, even if this doesn't work out, this is the best education I can get for like, this guy trains NFL athletes. I've seen what it takes
Yeah.
to train NFL. I feel pretty comfortable being able to.
And the connections along the way, I'm sure, pay dividends.
Borderline impossible to make it in the NFL, right? But for anybody, right?
Yeah,
Just because
yeah.
of the athletes, but just to be, you got to take a chance. You got to go for it. You got to just get the experience. You never know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How about long snapping? I feel like you got the perfect frame for a long snapper. You know, you got that speed too.
Yeah. So that's what I've been doing.
Untouched too.
Yeah, I've been having some people ask about it 'cause I long snapped in high school and stuff, and I was always on like the emergency list in college.
Hey,
Like,
you
pulling
broke.
down and stuff. No,
You were?
I'm horrible.
You were on the long snap emergency list, huh?
Yeah,
Like,
we had a long snapper get hurt, and I was always one of the first ones pulled over. But I was always on punch shield, so I never did a whole lot of snapping. But I've had teams ask because there's only 53 guys in the roster. They only keep one snapper active.
Mhm.
That guy gets hurt. In fact, that's almost always.
Those guys are really good.
Yeah, they're
Those NFL long
that's
snappers are
crazy with stuff. Like
80 miles an hour.
and I was talking to people about even like they have to get the same rotation on the waist every time.
Yeah.
Much a field goal snap. When you see the holder, like he's not supposed to have to spin it. You have to have the same rotation so he catches it in the right spot every time.
Wow.
It is kind of a crazy.
that is crazy.
Snapping.
I believe it. Yeah.
spin rates, like in baseball.
Exactly.
Are you at your weight you want to be at right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So I sit between like 255, 260. That's kind of the goal weight.
Is it worth maintaining that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's been good. I've gotten over 260 before from playing tight end and movement stuff. It feels more heavy.
Gotcha.
I can't do it. It's like I've had some teams ask if I could gain more. I'm like, yeah, I can. Like I have gotten heavier. So depending on the role, that I get teams that ask me to get heavier.
You weigh 330 if you wanted.
Yeah.
It does take you some time.
Next thing you know, you're a left tackle in the NFL.
You do have the height to do it.
Yeah.
What do you got to be? What do you got to weigh to be a left tackle? 315.
Yeah. About 3
Jenny Duncan, I saw him at the restaurant last 2 weeks ago when I was in Iowa City. He was like, that guy's just huge everywhere. Just everything about him is just, he doesn't look like he's fat or he's old. He's just,
What's crazy is the guys that get out of the NFL after a 5-10 year career playing O line, and then they look like they're
no.
250 pounds, 240 pounds.
Same things that happened to him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
going to start walking here by 210.
We joke with offensive linemen, there's 2 types. There's the offensive lineman that was skinny and had to get big, and the guy that's too big and had to lose weight. And when they're done, they usually go back to,
To whatever they were before.
some get up to 360 because they were a big kid before, had to lose weight. And some guys were 200 before and they dropped to 200 when they're done.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You only had to put on 40, about 50 pounds of that weight.
Yeah, yeah,
It's hard to put on 50 good pounds.
yeah. Right. I mean, I played this guy with our center. He came in at, he was right about 220. And he got up to 280, 290 to play. And, we saw him not too long ago. He was back down to about 220. Yeah.
Well, do you have to pay your agent or do you only get paid when it's not good?
So it kind of depends on the contract agent. Like there's some that will offer you X amount of money, but if you don't make it, you have to pay it back or whatever.
I like the front.
Yeah, yeah. Like they'll pay for this much training or whatever, because that's really what the pay part comes in, is when talking about like training and food and travel and that stuff during that pre-draft window. So mine, I was lucky enough to be in a spot where he paid for it, and then he only gets paid after I'm on an active roster.
So he must
So
think you're going to be on an active roster.
yeah,
Like
'cause
he's not giving that deal to guys that have a 10% chance of getting on a roster.
Or a trainer or nothing yet? Trainer
Yeah,
front?
no, I had to, so he's totally banking on that. I'm gonna be.
How'd you find him or did he find you?
So he found me. He hit me up on Instagram. That's where I've gotten most of these people DM me on Instagram. So he hit me up last probably May or June.
Yeah, doing his work, doing his research.
Yeah, yeah.
Hitting up all the,
Well, and it's probably a little niche, like
yeah. Missouri Valley.
that Missouri Valley or guys in that FBS field, like right there, end of draft guys or
Yeah, and that's kind of my agent specifically. It's kind of like his area of expertise.
Yep.
Is those end of draft, late round guys and finding spots. Like his one of his early guys was Austin Eckler.
Wow.
His guys, so he's got a lot of success, like getting on draft free agents on rosters. He's got a bunch of guys right now that are all UDFAs that have been in the league for 4, 5, 6+ years. So
Eckler he's still in the league, ain't he? Still a Charger?
yeah, yeah. Well, I think he just re-signed with the Commanders.
Okay.
this last year.
That's right.
You know what you want to be? You want to be Mr. Irrelevant.
That's a pretty good.
That would be great.
That would be pretty sweet.
Give about as much publicity as the number 1 overall.
Yeah. And Denver holds that pick right now. They're one of the teams that have been most interested. So it
Love it.
would be kind of a cool spot for them. But
I'm sure they're tuning in today. 14 people have, so.
there we go.
14?
That's it. Nope, there's not been one comment.
No comments today, huh?
14.
Sound must be working. We went through some audio difficulties our first few podcasts. So,
That's a little one.
what do you think though, Chris? Chris did some work in here, huh?
Yeah, it looks nice. Man.
Oh, speaking of that, how familiar are you with Lionel Richie, Derek?
Not super familiar.
Have you heard of him?
Yeah, yeah. I've heard of them before.
Have you ever sat in that pose in your life?
Surprisingly enough, I'm not.
Not even for a senior picture.
I thought about it, but I decided.
Chris, what's
I
the
live in that pose in a senior picture.
Chris? What's Lionel say when he signed it? Something about
Thanks for all the love. I think the hair is more impressive than the pose. Really,
the whole fit and posters, just iconic. And we kind of rearranged the podcast, so we didn't specifically know Lionel was going to be like the front and center guy. It just
we used to get us back there.
it just lined up that way.
Whatever. You down for some rapid fire questions?
Sure, let's do it.
How long we been on the air?
35 minutes.
Not very long. Good. You got any? I'll go first.
Yeah, you can go first. if you had to have one.
We go eye patch. I mean, eye patch. Because then you got
That's the right
a
answer.
story to tell.
That's the right answer.
Like, people
And they
say,
look
like,
badass.
Yeah, that guy's tough.
Exactly, for sure.
Everyone's on patch so far. That is the right answer.
I think when it came down to it, though, I think maybe more people would choose glass eye, but
Sure, you can always put the glass eye, put the patch over it. Yeah, you gotta wear that patch.
Take the patch and all.
Because the patch, I try wearing one now. It messes with you because I'm not used to it, right? But if you couldn't see out of that eye, it'd just be like a piece of jewelry, like your watch. Different coverage on it.
definitely a conversation starter.
Absolutely. And you look badass. Favorite lift or exercise?
Good question.
Probably the powerlifting. That was
Really?
probably what I was best at in college, and so
Is that all the way, is it like that from the floor to the chest?
all the way from the floor up to
Just to,
the
not up, yeah.
yeah, not extension, just to here. So we did a lot of powerlifting. You and I, trained Coach Jed Smith. That's kind of his bread and butter life. So we were always powerlifting.
You're pretty good at that in high school too, aren't you? Very weight.
Yeah, I was using that cleans and stuff.
You and 225.
Probably a stupid question, but you and I has all the machines that give you your output, force, all that stuff. No?
No, we don't. Yeah,
The green light, red light, at least corporate has that.
no. We were pretty basic technologically. Like our strength coach was we're a squat heavy, we're a power clean.
Oh, he's still doing that?
Like,
Wow.
he was really good at the accessory lifts too and things.
How
He's
you
a
doing?
big Olympic lifter, so
Still doing maxes, like 1 rep maxes?
yeah.
Wow.
And so we'd one rep max every summer.
Nobody does that anymore, really.
No, not really.
For injury purposes,
Everything cycles back, though. Like, there'll be some guys like, oh,
But at that age, you should lift heavy as long as you do not get hurt. But at our age, you can't lift heavy. I saw you do one-handed like dumbbell lessons the other day at the gym.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard, isn't it? You do less than you can do it too, right? You can't do the same amount.
Yeah, especially with balancing stuff.
stability.
Yeah, so that was probably the biggest difference in what I did college strength conditioning compared to training with his name's Terry Grissetti out in Pennsylvania. Was we did a lot of bilaterals, like 2-arm benches, 2-leg squats. We're not there with a lot of unilateral doing single leg stuff. So that was a little bit different because when your body gets super used to always.
Plus, it takes twice as long.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
that was. I mean, we had a lot more time.
I bet your legs, your arms, everything, like you feel a different soreness doing the unilateral movements and lifts.
Yeah, and that's probably
Right.
the biggest thing, just the stability and stuff. And it's been good for functional football.
Yeah.
You're literally getting to do, not everything's 2 legs all the time. You're working on 1 leg, you're working on balance.
Yep.
I think I would struggle to do anything close to what I could do with you. But you had a pretty good number up there. You probably had like a 60-pound dumbbell you do with one hand. It's got to be hard to balance.
Yeah, there's a lot of the stability muscles and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably really good for injury prevention stuff too. Just that ability and stuff. So.
You guys do conditioning in college?
Yeah. Oh yeah, conditioning a lot.
You did? You had conditioning days? Have you experienced?
Oh yeah.
College, you don't do that anymore. You
So
didn't do it in high school.
No.
Not in varsity.
You and I's old school.
Now, you had LPD for 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
Did you guys still run hills?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, we ran hills and yeah.
What hill? What hill?
We ran the hill back behind the playground and stuff. Up
The wellness center?
Yeah, back in there.
Oh, you were the last class to, I think, experience hills.
I don't even know if we did it my freshman sophomore year, but my 8th grade summer, I lifted with the high school guys a little bit and stuff. I remember running hills and flipping tires, and that was before we had the wellness center. So that was.
It used to be about a fence about 100 yards from the hill. We had to run to the bottom of the hill. And you know what? On Tuesdays, on Mondays we'd rush film, and then on Tuesdays we'd kind of work on our own because usually a JV game on Monday. And then Tuesday, all we did for our practice was stretch, do some agility, and then we ran for the entire practice.
Got you in good shape.
I mean, what are we doing?
30, 40 hills. Awesome.
Yeah, we were ready to go.
What else you got for your rapid fires there, Chris?
Is the hot dog a sandwich?
See, I've had this debate before. I'm gonna go no.
Really? Yeah, I probably would lean towards a no. Yeah. What do you think?
No.
No.
Yeah, it's just on its own. It's just something.
Do you guys have Hardee's in Sioux Falls?
Hopefully, one or 2 falls. I don't think we do.
The Gulf Coast in Sioux City. Bummer. Yeah, big Hardee's guy. What's your favorite fast food? I don't eat fast food anymore, huh?
Not anymore. My favorite fast food probably was Culver's.
Really?
Fan of the Colby.
Those are good.
Really good stuff. But,
You ever had canes?
yeah, we got a cane.
You like
Cedar
it?
Falls is the first time I ever had it. Really had one out there.
Mm.
How old are you? 22, 23?
23.
Didn't you have a COVID year you could have used?
No, so I was in first class after COVID stuff happened.
If you would have had a COVID year, would you have gone back?
I don't know. It'd be tough.
Like 24 years old.
Yeah, like 24 years old, still playing college ball.
There was an old guy, like 28, wasn't there, last year played for Indiana?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right.
I played with guys that were 25, 26. And I'm playing a 25-year-old when I was a true freshman.
That's what it was.
Don't you think it's a benefit though? Like your athletic peak is probably
26.
23 to 26.
Yeah.
I think 25, 26 is the man.
Right. Full maturity.
Yeah.
I think the toughest part those guys saw for us, though, is like, usually when you're 23 plus, you're in the NFL, and they just train different, and take care of your body's different. And they were still, like, lifting, running like a freshman in college. And so some of those guys just had so many injuries and things.
Yeah.
They just hadn't adapted.
You got any rapid fire?
I got a couple.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you've ever watched any of our podcasts. Chris is big into high school Iowa mascots. You know, there's a pretty elite list of some unique nicknames around the state. Chris, can we give him like 5 to 7 and let him pick, you know, which one he thinks is his favorite?
I mean, they've got the Des Moines North Polar Bears. We've got Audubon Wheelers. Audubon's kind of close to us. We've got Esterville Lincoln Central Midgets. We've got Sigourney Savages. In football, they joined with Keota. Sigourney Keota Savage Cobras. That's the best.
So good.
I think, right? I mean, that's just goes without saying.
The Dons.
Don Boston.
Don.
You can make the work we did, but you probably wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
Don Boston's a powerhouse. Yeah, I know. I mean, he's going to have a powerhouse. They're going to start building something with that new coach.
Yeah.
And but Don Boston, I mean, they do the Southeast Polk that way.
They're legit, dude.
What do you know about Southeast Polk wrestling?
They're pretty legit, too. I never got to wrestle any guy from Southeast Polk or anything, but
You know that they have like 3 varsity teams that they're sending out on the same day out of different leagues and doing them all.
I mean, you could be the second up wrestler and you're a pretty legit guy.
I'm sure.
Other number ones are going to go wrestle Division One there.
Yeah. Did you ever do miss wrestling?
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I wouldn't have missed.
You
I
were ready for
wouldn't have missed football more than wrestling.
Did-
I always enjoyed wrestling and like that would always be for conditioning and obviously like when we come back, you know, season would get done, have you back for Christmas break, I'd go and wrestle for conditioning for myself. And
You wrestle like the Chris Ross guy? Oh, not back here, not in right here.
no.
Those
back
guys
here.
tear you up.
Yeah, no. Just, not a college wrestler. It's a little
None of the UNI wrestling coaches tracked you down and were like, hey, you know, why don't you just come in and be a practice guy for us, you know? None of
I
that?
don't think Will Farley would have allowed that. He would have allowed
Did you go to any of their meets? I mean, they got a legit program over there.
we always loved, well, and we knew a lot of the wrestlers and stuff and different things.
Mm-hmm.
Because our strength coach also did the wrestling strength and conditioning stuff. So there'd be times where we'd be running hills in the summer and they'd come out and join us. And,
Yeah, they got some dudes over there.
they're legit.
Swab boys, both going there, both the kids for the Don Boston. Both from state titles, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
You still watch state wrestling tournament at all?
Yeah. Zach's still in it and stuff. So.
Did you go to state this year?
No, he did not.
He's going to be a senior next year.
Yeah, maybe a senior.
Your daughter, your sister must be a sophomore. Going to be a
She's going to be a freshman.
freshman.
So, yeah.
She an athlete?
Yeah. So she plays volleyball. She's on track right now and stuff. But, yeah, so
Part of the Hinton volleyball cult that they got going?
Well, she goes to Siouxland Christian.
Oh.
Mom started teaching there.
Gotcha.
So she goes to Siouxland.
I was going to ask you, did you ever go to any other school besides Hinton? So I know you guys live in Sioux State. Did you go to elementary school? You went to kindergarten in Hinton.
No, so I was homeschooled when I was younger.
You were?
So I was
Were you the
homeschooled.
only one?
We all were for a few years. I was homeschooled first to fifth. Gabe and Zach were homeschooled when they were younger. Keely was homeschooled.
How long was Dave and Zach at homeschool?
Only a couple of years.
So
When I
that's
started
just
going to
like-
Hinton, then he went to Hinton.
Gotcha.
So when you were in fifth, Dave would have been kindergarten or first grade.
Yeah.
Because they were 8th grade when you were senior.
Yeah.
You're homeschooled by your mom?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. You're pretty well adjusted. I mean,
Yeah.
most people that were homeschooled that long, I could tell.
Yeah. Well, we were in a lot of sports and we did a lot of, so we were always, like, I always had a lot of good friends and stuff.
That's great.
In school and things, but.
All right, I got a few more rapid fires here. Sorry. So anyway, out of those mascots, which one?
I thought you have to go to the midgets.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty elite.
The mascot that you wouldn't think would be pretty tough, and then
And the fact that they won't get rid of it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? they're hanging on.
we're not switching to something like the Warriors.
There's
or
still
the-
11 teams
Cute-
going with the Indians.
Cue the Pekin, Illinois story right there.
Warriors is the number one mascot in Iowa. I believe that. Because a lot of the Indians
Oh yeah,
teams-
got boards up there.
So yeah, you've got the first, you got the team name, and you got the whatever it is.
Chris knows approximately like 200 out of the 310 schools,
I just don't know if you're like the Eagles or the Hawks or
the common ones.
you know, Panthers. I just can't keep them all straight. But if you have a unique nickname, then I probably know it. Yeah, it's interesting to me.
the interesting one, yeah, like the Falcons, Warriors, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But Blackhawks is a unique nickname.
Yeah.
Now there have been like 3 teams in the past. Last school closed in like '91.
And it's not named after a bird. It's Chief Blackhawk of the Iowa. Yeah. Anyway, that's our lesson.
What's your
Our mascot history for the day.
German? Has everyone asked that question? I don't think any of us know. We just say what our parents.
Yeah, European. All right. What's better, sacking the quarterback or catching a touchdown pass? A big third and long, you get that QB sack, or you're scoring a mid-game touchdown.
Yeah. I think honestly, for probably like adrenaline rush to be sacked in the quarterback. I think
I thought so too.
catching a touchdown pass is awesome, but sacking the quarterback is such like a momentum shift, especially like trying to big third and long. And,
Your head against that guy all game long.
Yeah.
That tackle.
you don't see a lot of them.
Go-to Selly, and I'll give you a few. I mean, do you have your own go-to Selly? No, you don't. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So the Gronk spike, or the dunk through the goalpost, which you can't do anymore, which is bullshit. But
You can't do a dunk spike in college.
you can't.
I would have done that one. Yeah, I know you can't spike.
50 touchdowns this year.
I feel like that's the best
Were they short?
touchdown Selly.
Like red zone. Yeah, red zone passes. Like the dunk through the goalpost.
Yeah.
That's always a classic.
You can't even do it in the NFL.
Yeah.
You can dance. You can choreograph a 12-man dance for 30 seconds, but you can't dunk the ball through the goal.
The goal post one time when some guy did it. It moved like the field goal post.
Caused like an hour delay.
Yeah, like just
Still, that's ridiculous. Favorite place to go eat in Cedar Falls?
Our go-to is a place called the Wild Hare. So it's connected to Wild Hare and there's the Horny Toad. They're owned by the same. But the Wild Hare, the Horny Toad is downtown, so it's tough to get into sometimes. Wild Hare, a little bit outside, so that'd be our go-to, like tight end pregame. We always go out on like Thursday nights,
Nice.
get dinner, and that's kind of our go-to spot. So
Do much partying in college? Not really.
not really, no. I mean, I'd go out and hang with the guys and whatever, but I didn't never understand the guys that were.
There wasn't a football house that
there was. You just didn't-
the parties.
We'd go downtown a lot. Like, there was a place downtown that like all the parents and the players and stuff would gather, but
Sure.
I'd be so sore and beat up after games. It was like the last thing I'd do would be hungover tomorrow too.
Right.
Have you ever been
Got
hungover?
lifts at 10 a.m. and that kind of stuff.
Have you ever been? No. You don't
I'm assuming you're not a big trash talker. Or are you? Like,
In game, yeah.
are we really? Wow.
lose your cool.
Shocking. Let's go.
It was my cool, but I like to get in guys' heads.
All right. Give me some go-to chirps, some trash talk. Or maybe the best. What's the best thing someone's ever said to you?
Best thing someone could say to me. That's a good one.
They just try to intimidate you a lot. That's a game.
Yeah.
Mental warfare.
Probably the guys that usually chirp the most are the guys that are losing the most. Like
Yeah.
the most one-on-one battles. And so like, you get hit with a scoreboard one sometimes and it's like not for you, buddy. Not for you.
Yeah.
Like, especially if we do lose in big games. Like,
You ever get a personal foul in before?
no, I've not. Well, I don't know if I've gotten a face mask penalty before, but not like that.
Just grab it.
Yeah.
So what kind of stuff would you say? Just be like, bro, it's gonna be a long day for you. Like,
Yeah. Especially that one would come out and like, man, dude, it's been a long day. Or like, especially when they start tapping the first out, it's like, you better get the next one in. It's been a long day for you. But, yeah, just kind of, I don't know.
I love it.
You gotta chirp at guys a little bit, make it fun. Especially when guys start chirping back and whatever, like that's fun.
We do a Mount Rushmore too, so I didn't give you forewarning. I'll do mine first. It's gonna be Mount Rushmore of tight ends.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go Marv Cook. I'm gonna go Dallas Clark.
Okay.
I'm going to go with George Kittle. And then I'm going to go with T.J. Hopkinson. That's going to be my
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe
Are you an Iowa guy?
I'm actually going to go with Ron Clemster, maybe. Country City.
Yeah, if we're going NFL tight ends, I mean, Gronk's got to be on there.
Number one.
I like Dallas Clark pick. I like that one. Tony Gonzalez.
For sure.
I am a big George Kittle fan.
He'll be money.
He's fun to watch. I love watching tight ends in the block too.
Yeah.
Kelsey's fun, but like a George Kittle, like
Kelsey's a receiver, right?
Yeah.
Gates was a good one.
Yeah. Antonio Gates, big time.
Yeah, he kind of was the start of the tight end revolution.
Gonzalez was.
Yeah, I think Gonzalez was before Gates, wasn't he? Yeah, you're right.
Gates really kind of changed a lot.
It's such a premier position now. Like the draft value of tight ends over the last 10 years has to be just like tenfold, right?
Yesterday, you got drafted.
Yeah.
Did he go to college at
Oregon.
Yeah, it's a big part of the NFL game. Someone that can block, and they want those guys running like what, like 4.6 or 4.7. So
Yeah.
where did like Kittle and Hawkinson run out of college? Like 4.8s or 4.6s?
They were probably like 4.6 guys.
Really?
That's what most you'll see the premier like route running tight ends are. There's some guys like
Kelsey was a 4.6 probably when he was younger.
yeah. And you'll see some guys.
I feel like this is like big.
4.7s in that range.
Still for that guy.
He's huge.
Yeah, big dude.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than you.
Those guys like I don't know how much he weighs. I think we're about the same. Kind of typical is like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6".
When you switched over to tight end, what was the hardest thing to? Was it catching the ball? Was it like, oh, this is kind of new to me?
Not so much catching the ball, more just like
Reading the defense.
everything defensive line. They teach you extension, and then everything blocking is not.
And get in tight.
And so I would do so much the first,
You never
6
blocked
months
in your
of
life.
No, not since I was a little kid. Having blocked and things. So I would do so much. Like I'd beat the guy to the punch, and then I'd extend him and I'll put him out. And like,
Right.
getting the brain opposite wire to, and then especially when I was going both ways, like kind of that's probably what I figured out. I'm like, okay, no, offense, close, defense.
Running routes in space too, and knowing the ball might be coming, but those defenders are right on you at that level.
Yeah, especially as a tight end, you're catching a lot of balls in traffic, and you kind of got to get used to you're gonna take a hit every time you catch.
Well, how much does the tight end need to know? Like, okay, the safety's up or back, or the outside linebackers sitting in this gap. Like, I need to sit here. I need to run it inside or outside. I mean, just things you're reading at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the tight ends. I mean,
Or is your quarterback just telling you what to do?
oh no, it's like especially as a tight end, you're almost reading as much or more
You-
as a quarterback because you are doing a lot of the routes in the middle of the field with a lot of congestion. So
Mhm.
a lot of that, like adjusting routes. So it's cover 3, this is my adjustment, cover 2, this is my adjustment, cover 4, whatever. And then also just understanding run game and protections and stuff. Like wide receivers love that part of it. They don't have to diagram the box.
Right.
Hey, this backer's here, that safety's gonna roll, so I got to push one to the point, like that kind of stuff that you're doing. So tight end's got pretty mentally taxing jobs, probably a lot of the best ones in this sport.
Yeah.
I bet.
You have to know all the run game and all the pass game.
That's what gives you a good shot, because if you stay injury free and you got a good football IQ and you stay in the game, you're never gonna.
Yeah, that's kind of my way in is knowing being able to learn playbook right away and
Yeah.
understanding what their NFL offense is going to demand a lot.
So if they call it a pass play, you have to figure out who's going to be guarding you, like who's going to be covering you before the snap.
Yeah, a lot of times pre-snap understanding.
It wasn't like clear, and then you had to figure it out.
Yeah. So
Well, if they're in a zone.
kind of figuring out, zone versus man, different releases and things.
Are they trying to disguise
if
it?
it's zone. Oh yeah, especially like honestly, a great tester was our defense this last year. Our new defense coordinator and things. They did a ton of disguising, a ton of different shells, rolling people all over the place. So it's kind of a good prep for you can't get an NFL defense.
Go ones versus ones a lot in college.
Yeah, especially in spring ball, that'd be a lot of ones on ones, good on good type stuff. So you got a chance to go against.
No, the shells probably, or
We would do full pads still too, and especially
Full
spring ball.
contact,
We'd have some
tackle.
full contact a lot.
Really?
So you kind of can never get rid of contact completely because you need some contact prep, and also just especially at college level, see who's willing to take a hit, who's not. Everyone can go catch a pass, and you're not going to get hit.
What was your welcome to Division I football moment?
Ooh.
sophomore year?
No, true freshman, fall camp. We had a bunch of defensive ends go down. We would go ones on twos, twos on ones. We had a bunch of defensive ends go down, and I was rolling with the twos for a couple days. And I thought, like, oh, I'm going to play this season. Well, my first day, that's when I had Trevor Penning. So he was a first-round draft pick for the Saints that next fall.
Really?
Freakish offensive lineman, ran a 4.8, jumped 30 inches in the air. You know,
Wow.
at 315. Just a piece of
30-inch vertical, 315.
Yeah, and my first day going against him, I mean, he just ragdolled me the whole practice. And finally, I get away from him one play. I didn't know what split zone was at this point, so he finally doesn't block me. He goes down. I think I got a free pass to the quarter.
Bang.
Take off. Here comes our 265-pound tight end. Come across line of scrimmage, kicks me out. I probably had my feet over my head. I got up, had no clue where I was.
Stunned.
Oh, totally.
It's when they tell you to keep your head on a swivel.
And then the D-line coach was like, all right, so that's called split zone. You think you're unblocked. Somebody else is going to
Oh,
So that was my welcome to come.
couldn't even imagine. Damn.
Well, so you'll probably get an offer Sunday or Monday.
Probably, honestly, probably tomorrow. I'll probably know by the end of the day tomorrow because I'll be calling towards the last couple rounds.
When's the last round?
So the 7th will be done probably like 3, 4 o'clock.
Oh, tomorrow? Oh, I thought it was Sunday.
4th through the 7th will be tomorrow. So there'll be teams that call in those last rounds and give like the, hey, if you go undrafted, here's our offer for you. So I'll probably be signing pretty shortly after the draft done if I'm not drafted.
If you
For Mr. Irrelevant. I mean, I hope you get close there.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm hoping for Mr. Irrelevant.
if you sign, can you shoot Chris or I a text and just let us know so we can announce it on next week's pod? And
Yeah, we can do that. I can do that.
It'll probably be out there, yeah.
I mean, it'll be, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Definitely the news stations will get on that. But man, cheering for you, dude. I'm excited for you. Like, I'm gonna tune into the draft now, and I usually don't watch the later rounds of the draft, but
You think you'll be watching, like, if you're doing something else?
I'll be watching on Saturday, but like my family will be around. Dave's coming back from North Dakota and stuff, and then Callie, my fiance, her family's coming.
Oh, you're
over,
engaged?
so,
yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
yeah, so we started dating in high school. So,
What's your name?
yeah, Callie Covey.
Oh, that's Carson Fisher.
Yep.
Yeah, that's in Cody, I know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watch him play basketball.
She's ready to travel wherever too, huh?
Yep.
Let's go.
So we'll get married.
Love it.
June 6th, and then she'll stay home after that, and then whenever the team I'm on is official, because there's still movement that'll happen during the summer.
Mhm.
So kind of mid to late August, then she'll come join.
You said it's a 3-year contract if you're a UVA, or UVFA, or how do you call it?
Yeah, undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
UDFA.
Now that's a 3-year commitment to at least the practice squad.
Well,
Or they can
there's
cut
no
you after the
guarantee
year.
years they can cut you. But yeah, it's just a 3-year contract or whatever. So if they would keep you, you'd re-sign after 3 years or something different or whatever. But so there's a lot of movement that can happen, especially the month of July. And early
What's the longest you've heard of something like being on a practice squad? Some people do it for like 10 years.
Well, there's a limit of how many. You can only have so many spots of like guys that've been in the league for 3 years or more, and then so many spots of veteran guys on a practice squad. So usually after 2 or 3 years, if guys haven't been on active roster, they'll just be done. Because usually those
They're not re-offered.
no, not usually. So it's kind of
They're not going to
important.
make it.
Yeah.
And that's what they want. They want the bowling league system kind of for them. They're not-
Sure.
Yeah, the practice squad spots are really for like young guys who are trying to develop,
Development.
and then they might fill a spot on active roster when somebody gets hurt, or there's tons of movement that happens during the year. Like there's a guy that we worked with out at training that had the most transactions of any player in NFL history in a season. He got moved up and down like
Wow.
30 times in one season with the Patriots. It was just move up on Tuesday, down on Wednesday, back up on Thursday.
They get paid in the NFL by game, by the game, right? They get a game check.
Yeah.
So if you play one game, you get an increased salary. You went off the NFL roster for one game.
Yeah. So like a practice squad roster is like right about $15,000 a week versus a game check. The minimum rookie is like $50,000
A week?
So, pretty different pay if you get active.
15 is pretty good for a week. But it's only 16 or 17 or 20 weeks.
Yeah. So it come out to like about 140, 150 per season practice.
There's a lot of games.
Yeah. So
How many hours a day do you think during the season?
I don't know. Yeah. The NFL does have a lot more like actual regulations on.
And you will practice
Time
against Pro Bowl
practice.
offensive and Pro Bowl defensive edges.
Exactly.
I mean, those guys are the biggest freaks in the world.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are the apex specimens.
Yeah. That's what people say. I'm like defense in the NFL That's why I'm glad I'm a tight end now, because I'm not athletic enough to be an NFL edge. Those guys are
Oh, they are.
280, they run a 4.5.
Yeah.
They can jump 40 inches.
They are badass.
They are the best athletes in playing.
Yes, and they're just because they're so big. Too. You know,
Big.
that's the last guy you want to see.
They take your wingspan,
Yeah, yeah.
hand measurements, all that.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I've got pretty average arms and hands for a tight end.
Usually almost always exactly your height. Right?
Yeah, roughly close. Yeah. So,
You can take the ones with us?
no.
Unfortunately for you, that would be
Yeah, that would have boosted you up.
Make any practice ones?
No, I hadn't. I thought about it, but then when I wasn't hearing from any teams, I was like, hey,
I was like, here, like, what the scores when they get leaked, like, some guys do, like, at 4, right? Or get 4. Not even nails out, but yeah, I don't know.
or then there's guys like, Ryan Fitzpatrick,
Yeah.
like perfect score.
That's right.
Harvard,
That dude's got it all. He's smart.
so, 4-year career too.
No, he's not. Well, that's all I got, Derek.
Appreciate you, dude.
Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and send this baby to the internet.
Wish you the best of luck. Yeah, send it to the internet.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming. Oh, mic is off. So you can't hear us at least. But I will get signed off. I'll walk you out here. What do you got going on the rest of the day?
We go work out right now. Zach's
The wellness center?
yeah, Zach just got done, so I'm gonna have him throw to me.
Throw
So-
what? Oh, well.
Like throw passes and stuff. Yeah,
Um,
I joke with him. I just have